here we are. We're here to do the town's business. We're here to do your business, ultimately. Be part of everything we do here tonight. Show us the way to move forward for all the Anger citizens. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Okay, I'm about organized here. We have a public hearing on the general and utility fund budgets. So, Jerry, are you presenting, or?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll have a public hearing then on the budget.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, on May 17th, you received the town manager's recommended balanced budget. After that meeting, the commissioners had indicated that we needed to reduce the property tax rate based on the Harney County's reappraisal. So the budget that's been advertised and that is before you is a tax rate of 49 cents. And this, the revenue neutral rate based on Harney County's reappraisal of real property was calculated at 38 cents. So this is a 4-cent reduction. The general fund budget is proposed at $6.5 million and some change, and the utility budget is proposed at $3.3 million and some change. The library consolidation plan is budgeted with it being approved by the Board of Commissioners. 4% cost of living market adjustment revised across the board to all full-time employees, and the debt service payment proposed for the new town hall and police station was removed from the general fund, and all other budget information remains the same as presented on May 17th.
Okay. Any other items you want to highlight in the budget, or how do you want to proceed?
It was presented on May 17th, so I was not going to go through all those again.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have any questions of Mr. Vincent, or anything you want to say?
No, just for anybody that's here or whatnot, just realize that we all did meet with Mr. Vincent either individually or in pairs, and to go over this budget with him so he could answer questions to us. So we are aware of what's here and had a chance to go over it with him. So if we're not asking questions now and it seems like we're not interested, that is not the case. We met with him individually, with him and Hans, and asked our questions and got answers to the things that we felt were of concern. So we have reviewed all of that.
Incidentally, Commissioner Price is in Virginia. He has an emergency at his work, and without objection, he'll be allowed to participate by way of the laptop. He notified me of his absence. Okay. Anything else? There's been a lot of work, folks, on the budget. We've been working on it, what, 2 or 3 months, Jerry?
You guys for 2 or 3 months, but staff for about 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Staff, are you okay with the budget? You need to be more positive. Okay.
Well, I think also one of the great things about this budget, and yes, Chair, we thank you and everyone working on this so hard. For the first time in quite some length of history, we are looking at adding 6, right, Jerry? 6 new positions. That's kind of been unheard of in Anger for a while. But we need them at the rate we're growing, and that is the reason these people, we've put them off and said no to them in the years past, but this year we were able to work in 6 new positions, and we feel good about being able to do that with the budget as it stands. So thank you, Jerry, and thank you, department heads, for your inputs and requests.
Okay. Any other comments? Is there a motion to approve the budget ordinance for fiscal year?
Motion to approve the budget.
All right. Is there any further discussion? Thank you, Junior. If not, all in favor of the budget, please raise your right hand. Okay. What are you doing, Junior? Well, you made the motion, so you're in favor. Okay. All right. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Okay. Well, thank you. That's a real good achievement. Yay. All right. Secondly, to authorize the Harney and Wake County Revenue Administrator to levy and connect the taxes for the town of Angier. There are two resolutions, number 15 and number 16. Let's see, what's the difference in those?
Resolution 15 is from Harney County to administer.
Oh, in Wake County.
16 is Wake County.
Part of our town is in Wake County, so 15 and 16, it says right there. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the two resolutions to allow Harney County and Wake County to collect our taxes for us?
I make a motion that we approve Harnett and Wake County to collect our taxes.
All right, any discussion on that? Nope. Junior, anything?
I'm good.
All right. All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And Junior, if you would, okay, good. That's good. All right, it's unanimous. Okay, now the cleaning up we do every June. Hans, you need to say anything about the budget amendment? Caught you mid sip there. The reason we do this is that some funds, there are stuff left over, and other funds is slightly overdrawn, and so we do an amendment at the end of each year to even things out and to determine how much we'll basically carry over to the next year. Right, Hans?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, that is exactly spot on. That's what we're doing. Just like we had done in prior years in June, this is just our moment to do the final cleanup, making sure that all of our expenditure lines are not over, and ensuring that our cash flow, as was mentioned, within all funds is in good standing. At the end of the day, all that matters is when it comes down to the audit. So much of this budget amendment had to do with not only seeing what was over or what cash flow was needed, but also it was forecasting was involved as well. And so, given forecasting and whatnot, that's what this budget amendment is about. So it's our year-end balanced budget amendment, and it is truly balanced, of course.
Excellent. And we are required to have a balanced budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's scary if we don't.
I want to commend you for being so tight on keeping things in line all through the year and doing amendments and keeping everything tight. So I appreciate you.
I enjoy staring at it.
You've done an excellent job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So we need a motion to approve Budget Amendment 13, which is rather lengthy, but which, just as Hans said, tidies up here at the end of the year.
I make the motion that we approve the Amendment 13.
Okay. Thank you, Kaz. Any discussion?
Nope.
All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, I heard you this time, Junior, and you fit right in. Okay. All right. That is approved. And then American Rescue Plan funding. Jerry, we received $10 million before, and now this is the balance of the 10.4.
That's correct. We received information from the Department of Environmental Quality, and this is the resolution that is required to be approved by the board before we can accept the funding. So this is the resolution that's before the board. And if you remember, this $400,000 is going to be matched with another local $400,000 regarding the drainage, southwest drainage basin. This was mitigation number 3 that we're going to start on first, and that was at $800,000, and the other 2 were much higher. So we're starting at the end to clean it up to go forward.
And explain a little bit for people listening at home. You might get, you're close to your mic there, that the water flow down southeast, is it? That this will tackle the top end of that.
It's the southwest drainage basin for Anger.
But the water is flowing southeast.
That's correct. And this is, I think we've kicked this can down the road a little too far, too many years, and so there's many issues with our drainage within this basin. Approximately $3.2 million will resolve it, holding prices where they are today. But starting at mitigation number 3 will help the process of fixing our drainage issues.
Okay. And this was in accordance with a study that
That's correct.
Bill had done?
That's correct.
Okay. Any questions of the manager?
No.
All right. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the American Rescue Plan funding from the state for the sum of $400,000.
And that's for the stormwater capacity
Yes,
project.
Stormwater capacity project.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I believe that's it. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. This next one may take these next 2 may take a little more time. Let's see, the Library Consolidation Plan Agreement. Jerry, you
Yes,
presenting
sir.
on that?
So this is the revised agreement received from Harney County on Friday. I had recently met with the Harney County manager in early May to discuss the agreement. Items of interest that we discussed was, as I've written in the report, under room number 2, Operation H facilities, all buildings and grounds and other facilities will be used by the library will remain the property of Anger, and the lease rent will be free based on the county's acknowledgement that any renovation of the existing facility will be considered by the county. So when we were looking at building a new town hall, we were going to do major renovations in this room, and that was the point of discussion for this item.
But that still holds true.
So that still holds true.
Okay, as to this area. Okay.
That's correct. Today, I've received clarification regarding the second one under Roman numeral 3, employees, item D, vacation leave. At first, it was agreed upon that Andrew would pay the outstanding vacation leave for employees to the county. That way, the employees could maintain their balance for planned vacations from July moving forward to December. However, and this is true, to carry a sick leave over from one locality to another is a liability. So Harney County does not want to assume that liability, so we will pay employees directly of their vacation balances. And according to the county today, they will honor planned vacations for the employees in 2022.
Okay. And Dan is running a little bit late. Is he listening in?
He's listening in.
I'm here, yes.
Are you okay with that, Dan?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, in a word. All right. Any questions about the draft agreement with the county? This has been a long time coming.
And lastly, information received today, once approved tonight, the county will take it to their information-only meeting next week, and then they'll have it in July for their board meeting to approve. The second piece of this is that it was going to be effective July 1, but now it's going to be August the 1st since they're going to approve it in July. So what we'll do is we'll pay the expenses in the month of July, and then county will give us credit for that in our lump sum 2/3 payment to them.
Okay, so that'll be prorated.
Yes, sir. It'll be
temporarily.
prorated.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
So we're not doing the 3-year plan?
It is a 3-year plan.
Oh, okay.
The first year, we pay 2/3. The second year, we pay 1/3. Third year, we pay 0.
But
Okay.
the point he was saying is that we may not start exactly on July 1.
Oh, yeah, no,
So
I understand that.
we may pay 1/12
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what we were otherwise required to pay.
That's
Right.
correct.
I just wanted to make sure it's still a 3.
It's still a 3-year plan.
And if we're into 6 months, we discussed, 6 months, and let's just say it's not working out for the town, is there a clause that we can back out?
There's a clause in
There
there that
is.
you could back out.
Okay.
There is.
And then you take over the operations completely.
Okay.
And could you mention just salaries again?
Salaries, well, actually, the good news for this one, moving forward to August 1 versus July, the town employees for the library get a 4% cost of living, so that 4% cost of living will increase their salary to that another percent level, and then the county will honor what their salary is as they leave Andra into Harney County.
Okay.
Well, and as I understand it, we can still plan some local activities and do things like that.
I think we can work with Katie on that one.
Yeah. Okay. She's done such a good job of doing the local activities. Thank you, Katie. All right. Any other questions or? All right. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve this library consolidation agreement with Harney County.
Okay. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I believe it's unanimous. Okay. All right. I don't know. Maybe the next one will move that fast. I don't know. Who's going to talk about this for the police department? That would be the chief.
This one's not going to go quite that fast.
Oh, okay.
That was a mind-boggle read.
We'll just hold mine up to Commissioner Price.
Oh, dear. Well,
You can drop it off at his house.
well, as you go along, if you would explain to Commissioner Price what you're talking about, please.
Absolutely. First of all, we were 10, 12 years ago, as you know, we had ordinance in place where we could go and write parking citations, write if someone had too many animals in the yard, we could write trash. The biggest thing that we wrote was tall grass. Now our department doesn't take care of that, but that was one of the biggest ordinances that we always posted on people's doors. But after finding some of the old ordinances and looking at the way we operate today, several things needed to be tweaked a little bit. Some verbiage needed to be changed. So we started looking at other agencies, seeing what they're doing as far as their ordinances, how much they're charging. Because everything that we had on our old ordinance, it didn't matter what what you were charging, it was $5. And I didn't really like to just charge somebody. It's not worth writing it on a piece of paper for $5. But I'm not going to steal his glory. This Corporal Pollard did all the Sergeant Pollard, I'm sorry, did all the work on this. So I'm going to let him go through it and explain it in more detail.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
This sheet here is a proposed violation sheet with proposed ordinances that we can charge. with the fees and the section, the ordinance section attached to it. So when if we were to write this out, they would know exactly what they're being charged for, what ordinance they're violating, and how much the fine is.
And there are about 24 different violations, Mr. Price.
We can add or take away or whatever on this. This is just, a sample.
And we looked at multiple municipalities, and it was several municipalities. Holly Springs, for several of these ordinances were $50, $55. So we tried to meet in the middle or a little lower than most municipalities.
The second page that is attached is is the payment information, how you would go about paying the fine, who would go to, how they would pay it. On the back of that, it's got, with the highlighted sheets, it's going to have the Code of Ordinances violations that the town of Andrew can and should enforce listed on the Code of Ordinance violation notice ticket, which is the little ticket that we've had for years, that some of them are outdated now. This illegally parked vehicle, which is one topic of discussion that me and a few of the other commissioners and the chief have talked about. Animal complaints, we get a lot of those every day, just about. Trash, high grass, weeds, which we're thinking that would go towards the code enforcement officer now. Littering, noise ordinance, disorderly conduct, trespassing, and a lot of these ordinances can be written on a state statute citation as well. Highlighted in yellow are the ones that should be, that we need to look at with a better eye due to civil penalties, misdemeanors, this, that, and other. General statute now states that if you want to charge a misdemeanor for an ordinance, it has to be listed under the ordinance that you have to charge it as, that it can be charged as a misdemeanor.
Right.
If not, you really can't charge it as a misdemeanor. On the back sheet, in green is the proposed parking ordinance that is amended. On section 127.2, it's going to say it shall be unlawful for any driver operating a motor vehicle on a two-way street to drive the vehicle across the center line of the street, whether the center line is or is not marked by paint, and park the vehicle to leave it standing parallel to the curb or street edge facing oncoming traffic in any of the locations listed below, and it's all of the downtown streets right here by the stoplight.
So basically, you're saying parking in the wrong
Against
direction
traffic.
on the side of the road.
We have a lot of people to do that, and it's dangerous, one, getting in, and it's dangerous getting out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you can't see when you're exiting the parking spot,
How do you know whether they drove across the center line or not?
because they'll be parking facing the opposite direction of travel.
Suppose they backed up and backed it in. I mean, Your Honor, I didn't see them, but they must have crossed the center line to get over there.
Right. They did.
What you're saying is that's a moving violation, right? I mean, if you see someone coming down the road and there's a parking spot over there on the left-hand side and not over here on the right, I'm going to basically make a U-ey here in the middle of the traffic to park.
So everything every general statute I've looked at, there's nothing in general statute that states that it's against the law to cross the lane of traffic to park. So the good thing about an ordinance is you can always go above state law. You can never go
Right.
below.
And we had actually found that verbiage at another municipality.
Okay. Now, but you could turn left into an angled parking space across the center line, right?
As long as you're facing away from traffic, yes.
Well, I
So
mean,
if
you're
you're not
going this
crossing
way and you
traffic-
turn left and go into
So if
the,
you turn left and go in like over here across from Nappertanny,
Right.
yes, you can possibly do that.
as long as it's safe and you have safe distance to do
But
it.
when you've
yeah.
got your the parking stalls that are parallel to the road, going across the lane of traffic and parking against traffic is illegal. Should be legal.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Junior.
Section 7-123, parking restriction for specific streets, is highlighted in yellow. No parking from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Can you explain that a little bit?
So that was a ordinance that has been on the books since
That's
I've been
old.
here. That's old. So that would, highlight in yellow, we could look at even taking that one out. Because it's from MacGyver Street, from Highway 55 east towards Broad Street. I mean, nobody really parks there anyway.
There's
The
several
north
things
side.
in the old ordinance that if we really wouldn't even consider today. So we need to go through and highlight several of them and at a later date come and say, hey, let's get rid of this. We're not going to do this.
Right.
Okay.
Some municipalities still have, can't spit on the sidewalk.
Right.
And it's
Like who's gonna
100
charge
years
that?
old,
Yeah.
so, that's things we can look at a later date.
There's a note on the back sheet that basically what you as the board must vote on. The Town of Andrew Board of Commissioners must vote on not only the proposed amended parking violation adage, but also accessible fines for violations highlighted. They must also vote to adopt the town ordinance in its entirety so that the ordinances can be enforced by the Town of Andrew Police Department or by the Town of Andrew's Code Enforcement Officer with the accessible fines attached. The Town of Andrew Board of Commissioners must also vote for a time frame for these fees per violation to be paid by. So because we're moving or we're adding verbiage to the ordinances and taking some out, the whole ordinance needs to be voted on.
Okay, was this published, Madam Clerk? The changes to the ordinances
No, I believe we're just bringing it to y'all's attention.
for
Tonight, yeah.
information?
Yes.
So, for instance, the one that Junior Commissioner Price referenced then might need to be highlighted for changing or removal, yeah. So you're bringing it to us for information tonight, and that it needs to be looked at.
And
Our town attorney needs to look at it,
Yes, sir.
and you need to bring it back to us in a form that that has been advertised, that we can vote on it, all right?
Okay, can I ask a question, Bob, over
Sure,
here?
sure.
So, I mean, this has been a long time overdue,
Amen.
and we're in the habit here of just dragging things out for months. So I'm asking, can this be brought back to us first Tuesday night of next month? And let's get this thing moving. I mean, I would assume that anything that is weird or strange wordage at any point could be changed. We could vote to change a fee the next month later
A
on.
lot of stuff is, general statute overweighs what's in the ordinance.
True.
So we would, just like it's alcohol fines in there, naturally, we would charge them with
state
general
citation.
statute or citation.
Okay.
for
Right.
alcohol fines.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff that we can just get rid of.
I mean, I guess my question is this something you can get to Dan and Dan can glance over? Like I said, we're just in the habit of taking
And-
months to accomplish
and-
something.
and
And
we
we
can-
started talking about this months ago as well. So I just want to see it moving on ahead and get these things in the works.
How much time Madam Clerk, do you need to publish this before the next meeting?
Publish it in,
Public notice, yeah.
so I need
Well, does
no less than 10 and no more than 25 days.
Get her done.
It seems to me that would be the main issue, as to whether we can get it all done.
And I guess my question is, which Dan could answer, is this something that has to be published?
I think without seeing exactly what we're changing, it depends on which ordinances we're adopting. There's certain ordinances that need to have a public hearing, some don't. Since we're sort of overhauling the whole system, I think it's better practice to have a public hearing on it.
But we can have a
But I would
public.
need to delve into the details of which ordinances are being amended. If you're readopting the entirety of the ordinances, then I think it's probably better safe than sorry to have a public hearing. From my end, I can turn that around pretty quickly, but
Okay.
I know we want to make sure we have time to notice it.
So with that, I guess my question then would be, we could have the public hearing that evening as well as then vote on it. So I'm just asking, how fast can we move this through?
Well, if we publish it tomorrow, we got 14 days. And you say we have to have at least 10?
No less than 10.
No less than 10. So we just put on the agenda for the night of our first meeting in July.
Can we go ahead and get the fees tonight so we
Yeah, I would say there's no reason we couldn't do that.
One question, because it's getting ready to be 4th of July, and I like fireworks. And I see that disarming or discharging guns, firearms, and fireworks. So what is
$100.
what is the law? I mean, are we not allowed to around 4th of
In the
July?
state of North Carolina, you can't have
Yeah. It's a
any
state.
fireworks that go in the air and cause an explosion. That's the
And
state
cause
of
an
North-
explosion.
That's the
Oh,
state
okay.
of North Carolina.
Okay.
anything you can buy.
In South Carolina,
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
No, I
are
usually
you-
get the ones that are local here.
You can do.
I was going to ask you, so you're telling me any roadside stands that pop up down here,
North Carolina.
if I can buy it here by law, supposedly, I can use that here. Oh, that's
So
a good
anything you see at
clarification.
Walmart or your local food line, whatever, is okay, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If they can sell it here, they've been approved by the state
Right.
to sell it.
I just want clarification for all of our Facebook people.
Well, my only concern here about what I'm looking at here with your pricing and the things that you have done, and I would just be curious, but I think there's a problem for me for the very right-hand side of these traffic violations. It's not even worth your time to write a $25 ticket.
You're absolutely correct.
And you're going to tell me that I can throw a piece of trash out of my window and you're going to charge me $50 for littering.
Yep.
But I'm putting people's lives at risk and children and other drivers, and the consequences are far less for speeding than they are for throwing a piece of trash out of my window. And I these fees on this right-hand side sound really under where they should be.
Like I said, this was just a template for you
Sure.
to look at and go by.
Gotcha.
It wasn't 100% of what.
Well,
I'm glad you say that. I mean, I would love for every fine on there to be no less than 50.
Well, I was going to say, I think, in my opinion, all of these traffic, vehicle, and parking violations should go up to $50.
At the minimum,
It's not worth it, your time, and there are not enough. The consequences for doing it are not severe enough, and that's one of the reasons that we want to start doing this. Because if people are aware that we're going to be doing these things now, perhaps they'll think twice and slow down and obey the rules and regulations. But a $25, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd be lucky if I got stopped anywhere else and they only wrote me a $25 ticket.
Exactly.
Or even for these other violations, even for parking incorrectly with that. But from what I read here and what I see, I would just say that whole right-hand column
Needs to go
up to $50.
Minimum.
You know, I mean, at least let's start somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Start at
there are
50.
offenses on the back here where it says first offense, second offense. We can bump them up to like 50 for the first offense.
And then, yeah, increments of
75
50.
for the second, and 150 for a third.
Well, I'm being harsh.
Where is
fine.
that, Jim?
Just above the green lettering.
Almost the last page.
Yeah, almost right there.
Lord, I can't
You
even-
said first offense 50,
Yeah, 50,
75.
75, and then 150.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do we require every child in the park using those facilities to have a signed waiver, Derek?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Somebody signs up for an organized event, yes.
okay,
They sign up for one of our sports programs, yes. But if they're just down there randomly using the park, no. I mean, we have no way to police that.
okay.
Now, do we have signs up for like in the skateboard area for
We have signs,
says at your own risk?
yes. There are liability signs all over.
Even at the dog park?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I should be worried about this at my age, but
Yes.
what does running at large mean?
That's under animal
fees to be paid by?
That's under your animal control tab, too.
What do you think?
If your
Okay.
animals are running their hard.
And I would
I
say
understand.
the question
Okay.
what the norm is, but 30 days.
Fees to be paid by, what is the norm? I say 30 days, but you tell me 45, 60, what it,
Well, we had, what, part of this that I took from was Holly Springs, and they had, animal control was 15 days, I believe. And, let me try to find out. It said, parking tickets must be paid within 5 business days from issue date. Animal control violation tickets must be paid by 15 business days from the date issued. Now, that came from Holly Springs PD, so, I mean, I don't know if we want to do
I say 30 for
Larger.
everything. What do you think?
longer term or shorter term. Yeah.
I think 5 days to pay any fine is really too short.
Right.
Yeah.
And even so, I mean, I would say,
I mean, any
Lorraine just
general
said if we
I would
just
say
did
30
30
days
days.
is more
General
than
citation,
enough.
I would give somebody 30 days to go to court.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't give them, you have
Right.
to report in 2 weeks.
Right. I think 30 days is more than enough.
I do too.
Well, payday
Now,
may
is there a
not be for,
penalty if they don't come in after
20, 30
before 30
days.
days.
Let's see, that's something that y'all would have to.
I think we need to do that.
Do what?
If they don't come in within 30 days, there should be a penalty of, say, $25
There you go.
per week or. per
well,
day,
they're cited to
whatever.
court, aren't they, if they don't pay it? Right,
Yes.
Yeah.
which would add to the fines.
Yep.
Yeah, failure to pay fines can lead to further legal action, which means that then they could have a civil summons issued against them and have to go to court to pay the fines.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Junior, he hears
said, He said yes.
Yeah, I'm looking through these. I think I got the same thing y'all got there, Boots.
We did.
Yeah.
Couple things that's dear to me is, what if y'all added or done anything with loitering and prostitution and the new ordinances?
No, sir.
Loitering is,
Loitering is in there.
Loitering is in here, and there's a nuisance ordinance that covers loitering as well.
What does it signify that, Scott? Do you know?
Where does it signify? The loitering on the violation would be in the general ordinances tab all the way to the bottom. And in the public nuisance is part of the loitering. Reading into the general ordinances, it covers panhandling. It just doesn't say panhandling, but it covers panhandling. It's just a,
I guess my question, gentlemen, would be at late at night or whenever y'all out patrolling, y'all know most of these people. If they, it's the same crowd walking the streets, and if they can't produce to you guys a address of residency, is there anything the town can do to get them out of the town?
no, not unless we have a curfew.
loitering has been traditionally a tough constitutional issue. Dan, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I mean, we're permitted to, have a ordinance that prohibits some loitering, but it's always a little bit difficult to enforce. And the concept of, if someone can't show an ID or an address, there's really, unless it's a separate crime, you can't make that in and of itself illegal.
Right.
Right.
We need to be able to control things, but the loitering has been a tough thing to enforce over the decades.
The loitering, when I read just to paraphrase, the loitering and public nuisance states that, they can't be in the street asking people, stopping cars, stopping people, asking for money.
Okay, but see, that adds an additional action.
Right, that's an additional action, correct. but
It's just
homelessness
standing
in
there.
itself- Homelessness in itself is not a crime.
Right.
Right. I've just assisted in drafting a panhandling ordinance for another town. If we need something along those lines, that's a little more.
Is that something y'all would like to include?
Is it a real issue right now?
Panhandling, yes.
Yeah, I guess we need to take a
That
look
could
at
be-
it.
that
Okay.
could- That could
And see,
probably
that's
put in.
something,
Go ahead.
that's something that has hurt us in the prior months. We've got businesses that allow it. And it terrifies some of the customers. And whenever the customers call us, when we go talk to the managers at the businesses, they don't want us to do anything about it.
Oh, they're not harming anybody or.
If they allow it, there's
Wow.
nothing we can do.
Right,
That is
amazing.
the case, yeah. If a business wants to allow that, then
they can.
they generally can.
It
The
makes
way,
us look like we're not doing nothing because our hands are tied. But at the same time, we feel for the customers, but if the management won't let us do anything about it,
I can bring a draft of a proposed ordinance that would at least go some ways towards addressing that issue, give some authority to law enforcement to step in, but it is a situation where if a business is allowing it, that it's more difficult to prohibit.
Right. Seems to me the action here is for you to get with them and go through the code.
Yep.
And present something to us at the next meeting.
I think we're good as far as if everybody's okay with the fees that y'all discussed, a few changes. I think we're good to move forward.
Great.
Yep, y'all did an excellent job.
Just one more quick question. I don't see on here, I'm assuming it's on here somewhere, U-turns in the middle of the street?
That's a general statute.
Just-
It's already prohibited, yeah, by general statute.
So these kind of work together. Sometimes there might be some situations where you want to use the local ordinance.
You're correct.
For instance, if you realize the person just kind of got caught in a bind, you don't want to send them through the general court of justice, then it may be the local ordinance is a better way to handle it. But I don't know.
So you're saying some of these things are just built in. I mean, what's my one question? I mean, it's like, I guess,
A lot of this we can already enforce with the powers we've got.
because like, I mean, one thing that came to mind, but if this falls under something else, like blocking these intersections up here, we catch you doing it, and you had intentionally pulled in there, and now you're blocking traffic, we can write you a ticket for it. Impeding, all right, it did have something. And I would like clarification on one. As much as I read it, I don't know that I understood it, so please explain it to me. Lights on parked vehicles.
They said the same thing. So if somebody parks against traffic, like what we're trying to get amended for, get the,
To stop doing.
to stop doing, right, and they leave their lights on, it blinds the people coming to
Exactly.
them. You can't see people crossing the street, you can't see any of it. Even if they're parking the same direction of traffic, they have their lights on, you got people coming to you, you can't see anybody crossing the street, you can't see if the lights are on, if the lights are on.
That's very hazardous.
But that also is a state statute, isn't it?
I would have to look into it.
Yeah, I believe it is. So a lot of these things, cross
A lot of
over.
these things we can charge either or, and that's why, the template was laid out, you can go through, you can add whatever you want to add on the ordinance citation, or you can say, hey, just keep it like it is, bump the fines up. The main goal tonight was for the parking in the opposite direction of traffic. I believe that was our main concern at this point. And going forward, we can move around and take some stuff out, add some stuff, but the main goal, I believe, tonight was the parking in the opposite lane of traffic.
Well, we
Parking
can,
across the street.
we can, look and do this on the next meeting, and then if we, over the next 6 months, if we see something that isn't working, we can come back and
Right.
tinker with it.
Yep.
Just curious, what about neighborhoods? Because there's sometimes I see in neighborhoods that, they park.
Right, and that would have to be added into that verbiage, because the verbiage itself is just for these center town streets.
Okay.
I would suggest that the commissioners, if you feel like something like that, if you suggest that to the chief and to Dan and let them look at it and present it to us at the next
And
meeting.
a
Sounds
lot
like
of the
a plan.
subdivisions may have to go under the homeowners association, whatever they.
Well,
whatever
but
they
they're
say.
public streets in the in the subdivision, so we would have jurisdiction over that.
Because a lot of times, especially in subdivisions, that the roads, especially on Saturday and Sunday, they park the cars side by side in the street, and if there's an emergency, the emergency vehicles are going to take them out.
Right.
They don't stagger them.
Something like that we can take care of with the powers we got now.
Oh, okay.
Look, you think that it's already changed statute. Any chapter 20 is already, it's just in place for highway. So what we're referring to is if a car is parked off into a business shining light.
Right. Right,
That
right.
wouldn't be our-
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, so we got a plan. We're going
Good
to
start.
look at it. Y'all are going to look at it with Dan, and
Yep.
commissioners, if you have anything that you want to be considered, then please get it to them as soon as you can. Is that a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, and let's see, apparently we're not having reports from,
Nope. So I think it's closed session.
okay, so we have a closed session. It is closed session pursuant to 143.318.11A5 to discuss price and other material terms of a contract or proposed contract. So as the last part of our agenda tonight, then we will do that. And is there a motion to go into closed
I
session?
make a motion that we go into closed session.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, we'll take just a 5-minute break and then go into closed session.